What's going on, everybody? Hope you're doing well. Happy Eurovision Grand Final Day. I hope that all of you are excited for tonight. We've obviously been waiting a long time for this moment to come. And this will be, obviously the biggest audience that Eurovision has seen in a long time. So we'd love to know what you think of tonight's show. Who are you cheering for to win? But before we get to comments first, Jess, how are you?
I'm very well, thank you. How are you?
Doing well. It's going to be an exciting show. I can count on that at least. And for those of you who are watching, we're hoping to connect to Andy, Clara, and Tommy, who are in the press center as well. It's been a while since we've actually caught up with them face-to-face, or at least, digitally face-to-face. But let us know in the comments who you're most excited to see. Who do you think is going to win? Who are you going to vote for? Hello to Rye Bailey. He's saying, don't wins long as it not friends. Nice comment. I think I know what you mean. However, the words that you put do not make sense. So try again. But nonetheless, okay, here we go. So he's saying Italy or Malta. All right. Now, Jess, before we actually started, I could actually hear you as you were getting ready. You were singing Malta's song.
Oh,
and I know that you've been...
I didn't know you were there.
Oh, sorry. But anyway, I know that you've been a big fan of Destiny and Malta overall in Eurovision and this song. So I imagine that this is the one that you're at least hoping the most for is going to win.
Yes. If I had to pick a personal favorite winner, it would be Eurovoxx. So I'm rooting for song number 6 tonight. But regardless of the results, I'll be happy whatever country wins anyway. I'll be happy for them and for the artist. So, but my ultimate would be Malta.
Bit of insight here from Ronald. We all know Georgia will win. Oh, Georgia, Tornike. Remember when we were talking about when it was first announced that Tornike was announced as the artist, and we were talking about the entry that he had submitted to the 2017 selection, the one that had like this kind of like techno beat to it with the that really plucky kick drum. Yeah, too bad for Tornike. But nonetheless,
I like that one.
Yeah, I mean, the song from this year, you mean?
No, the 2017 one.
Okay, I had nothing against the song from this year. However, I had a very hard time seeing it qualifying, and then we all know what happened. Hello to some people who are just joining us. Hello to Charlie SC Vlog saying, hi from Mexico, love your channel. You're a YouTuber too. Oh, thank you so much. Hello to Nicola. Hi guys, do you think that we'll have the same jury and televote winner? I have my doubts. I feel like this might be the most spread result that we have. It could be so many. It could go so many different ways. But I don't know. If we had to hazard a guess, Jess, who do you think would win the jury, and who do you think would win the televote?
So for jury vote, I'm gonna say either Switzerland, France, or Malta. And televote, I'm thinking probably Italy.
Yeah, I still feel like Iceland could win the televote, if not do really, really well in the televote. Because as we saw on Thursday, even though it is a rehearsal, it's the rehearsal footage, it did look like it was happening live in the moment. And I think they're really one of the groups that has done everything that you're supposed to do when it comes to staging. So I think that it could be Iceland, although I would put Italy as a contender for that as well. And also potentially Ukraine, because we've been seeing how big of a success Shum has been since Tuesday, since it qualified. Even in Canada, the YouTube video was trending as well. We've seen it break through on a lot of streaming charts on Spotify and probably other streaming platforms. So I don't know what that means, but that gives me a lot of hope. Let me know if you're a fan of Ukraine. Excuse me. Congus is asking, do you think that Greece will be in the top 10? I feel like we're going to disagree on this, but go ahead, Jess.
I'm going to say yes. And I've been thinking for a long time now that Stefania will be the one to get Greece back in the top 10 where they belong. But you're probably going to disagree with me.
Well, the thing is, I could see it being in the top 10. However, I do think that the chroma key effect has not really gone the way that they'd wanted it to. It did look really good on the night of the semifinal. I just don't think that everyone is going to like it as much as they were hoping, because I've seen a lot of people say that they feel like it's cheap. especially because we saw in some rehearsals that there were certain issues. Mikola had mentioned when he was here last that it was thought that because there was some smoke from the Estonian entry that hadn't been completely cleared, it affected her ability to be keyed out. And you could like see through her eyes, you could see through parts of her hair. So I think that they're really walking a fine line when it comes to that. But I will say that her performance is pretty good as a, vocally speaking. I feel like the movements are still a bit stiff, but perhaps if those vocals are really strong, she could get a lot of jury points, and that might be enough to get them into the top 10. Hello to Neil Era. Hola, can't wait for tonight. Also need the season to be over. Don't we all? Francesco M, hello to you. Hello to Alice. Nice to see you as well. Doc Knight Philco is saying, if anything, Finland will take votes away from Italy. I mean, I could see the thinking in that because they are the two, superficially speaking, rock songs in the final. And of course, there has been this debate over which one is going to pull out ahead of the other one. Jess, I feel like for you, you would say it would be Italy, right?
I think so. I think it's like with Finland, for me, it's very kind of like more on the heavy metal side and a bit too rock. Whereas with Italy, it has maybe more of a kind of rock pop appeal to it, maybe. I don't know. Or maybe it's just the fact that the members of the band are on stage topless. Who knows? But I do think Italy has a wider appeal to a European and Australian audience.
Yeah, I would agree with that entirely. It's just it's reminiscent of styles of rock that's been successful for many, many years without feeling derivative, and as far as I'm concerned. Whereas obviously lots of fans of Finland, as we know, I do see people being a little bit more split on it. It's like you either love it or you don't. I've never heard anyone be like in the middle about Finland. Nicola saying maybe we'll have a shock jury winner like in 2019. I mean, we also had a shock jury winner in 2018. So it could happen. But I mean, we have so much good quality, so many good quality songs this year that I'm just really excited to see who it's going to be. And like the thing that has made me reluctant about the success of Ukraine is that I wasn't sure how it would be received by juries. But one thing that's been really that is restored by faith in that is the fact that a lot of musicians really like Ukraine, and like including contestants. We've seen today we saw Montaigne actually try and sing the lyrics in Ukrainian. We also saw Django on his way to the venue in his bus. All of their team were jamming out to Shum. It's making me really happy. And I do remember at one point, Jesse said that potentially Ukraine could pull in a win. Do you still think that's the case?
They could definitely be a shock winner for sure, I think. And I'd be totally happy with that.
San Marino, Ryan Bailey is saying that San Marino could win the televote. Eka, oh, nice to see you from Georgia, saying me and my family are all voting for Iceland. Hello to Mr. System 96. Nice to see you again. Neil Eris saying that Serbia will do well with the televote. Yes. Mr. System's also hoping for some big surprises with the voting. Simon, nice to see you. Greece was my number one, and Stefania's voice is amazing, but after the distracting staging, it's dropping fast. Hello. Hello to Mark, Stu, and Jess. Thank you for your chats and reading our comments. Enjoy Eurovision 2021, and let's hope the voting is epic. It will be epic, without a doubt. Hello to Emma. Nice to see you. I think Italy will win with Ukraine in second place. I feel like Serbia is going to do the best of the pop songs also. Neil Era also saying, I'd be very happy for Iceland and Daddy. Nicola asking us, does Manesia have chances to win the televote? She has the most views and likes on YouTube. I think that she could do very well with the televote. It could happen. So the thing is, when it comes to views, you have to remember that numbers can be manipulated. And I'm not saying that that has anything to do with Manesia or the Russian team, but we know that bots are a thing, and we know that they could go after certain national interests. Not going to say that that's the case here. However, don't put all your faith in numbers. And obviously, you know, that applies as well to Ukraine, as I was just talking about, because that's been really successful, and other countries that have done really well. Vitor Silva asking us, between Bulgaria, Portugal, and Belgium, which is the best non-up-tempo song? What do you think, Jess?
I mean, I think they're all as good as each other. They all have their own kind of merits and their own positive things about them. But to kind of deviate slightly from the question, if I was to pick my favorite, it would be Portugal. But that's not to say it's necessarily the best of the three.
I mean, in terms of the competition, I feel like Bulgaria will probably edge out overall between those ones. A lot of people are you know, really showing a lot of faith in Portugal, which is such a flip, because if we remember like the fan polls from when that song was selected, it was more often than not like last place, with, you know, with the exception of maybe like North Macedonia and Georgia. So like, if there's any country that's had a huge glow up, it's Portugal. And
yeah,
it goes to show you sometimes where people's biases lie. Hello to Yusuf. Nice to see you again. Haven't seen you around too much. Hello to Alejandro. Nice to see you. Neil Era saying Portugal will do very well, might win jury, and yes, be top 5 overall. Very interesting. Again, there are so many songs that seem to have that you know, true jury appeal to them. But I mean, if we're talking about, because we were discussing surprise jury winners, as we've seen in the past few years, and that I could almost see it fitting the bill, but I feel like I'd have to think about who else it could be. But do you have any other ideas for jury winners that would be a surprise?
I mean, for me, Portugal would definitely be a surprise jury winner. I mean, I think a lot of other jury winners, I think, would be more predictable, like Switzerland or France or something. Possibly Bulgaria, maybe, as a surprise jury winner.
Tiago Varela saying, I think Switzerland or Iceland have a fair chance of winning, but everyone's attention inside the ESC bubble on France and Italy. I have no major favorites this year, and I'm just happy that Portugal is in the final. So based on your name, I imagine that you are Portuguese, and yes, I hope, obviously, you're happy. I remember that this was a controversial choice in Portugal, because it is the first time that they have a song that's completely in English. And I'm looking forward to what that will mean next year for Festival de Canção. Hold on, I want to catch up to these. Yaman saying, I hope France will be the winner tonight. Neil Era saying, I'm worried for Bulgaria, actually. Doris saying, Malta, Ukraine, and France. So yeah, I mean, talk about like spread when it comes to favorites. So many, like more favorites than I've ever seen before. Hello, Ariana. I hope my country wins. It would be amazing hosting hosting Eurovision. Go Maneskin. Yes, and we are all craving a win for Italy, and I think it's time. They're overdue for a win, I would say.
Yeah.
So it would be great to hear. Ry Bailey saying, I loved Portugal as soon as I heard it. Boyan asking us, what place can Serbia take? Hoping for a top 10. This one I think we're going to feel differently about as well.
Yeah. So after watching their semi-final performance and then their jury final performance yesterday, I do think that this has the potential to do very, very well with the televoters, and I could see this being a top 10 in the televote. So then I'm thinking, if the jury score was high enough, then it could possibly get them an overall top 10 finish. But I think it's really going to depend on the juries, because I do feel this is more of a televote song.
Yeah, I would definitely agree with that aspect of it. And as I've been kind of all throughout this season, I've been very skeptical of this song. Obviously, I mean, like I never wrote it off as you know, when talking about qualifications, but obviously it did qualify. I still feel like it's a bit unhinged and not necessarily messy. I might have called it messy in the past. It isn't quite that far, but when you know, obviously not thinking about its own merits and comparing it to everything else, I would say that it's not as cohesive as some of the other entries that we see, especially other pop songs. But yeah, it could definitely do very well with the public. The juries, it is going to be a big question. So we'll have to see about that. What else have we got? Wow, jumping around a lot. Hold on. Hang tight, guys. Okay, let's go to this one. Mr. System 96. Which is the best non-qualifier this year? Ooh, what do you think, Jess?
For me, I'm gonna have to say Austria and Croatia.
Excuse me. In terms of like all things considered, I do feel like Croatia would have probably qualified if it was in semifinal too.
I think so too.
I am going to show my love for Benny Cristo and the Czech Republic because I think it was a great song. Was never really the most widely appreciated song. I'm not surprised that it didn't qualify, but I like what they did this year, and again, I'm going to be looking forward to seeing what else they could, the Czech Republic can do, because I think that they bring a very interesting element to Eurovision. Lubien showing some love for Albania. And before we go to some more comments, we've got Andy.
Oxford.
Hello.
Hey guys, how you doing?
Doing well. This is the first time that we've spoken in like a week, I think.
I know, it's been hectic here. Iceland have just won the fake voting, by the way. So
they did.
You can probably hear. I think they did that so that they could test out how it would work if they actually won. I think it was intentional. How are you guys doing?
Pretty good.
Very well.
We're just discussing all the millions of possible outcomes that we could be seeing tonight. Yeah.
No, only one outcome tonight, guys. Possibly two.
Well, I'm not talking about winners. I'm talking about overall. Talking about who's gonna land where. Like everything just seems so up in the air. I agree. So, firstly, we should mention that one outcome that you're talking about is probably Italy winning, right?
Yes.
Yeah, and I mean, as far as myself and Jess are concerned, we're definitely on board with that. However, there are lots of opinions in here about how that may happen. So I'm going to go to some more comments. Jamie Brennan saying, "I have faith in Guion. Let's go Switzerland." Felix P saying, "Iceland could win the televote. My class loved it so much that they randomly started about it. Also, my teacher showed it in biology class as well."
Biology
class. I do see that as a possibility. Iceland winning the televote. I don't know how you feel about that, Andy.
I'm not sure about winning the televote, but I think they will do very well. I think actually when I watched the performance last night, I actually think a lot of people are going to love seeing them on stage. They've done it now so that you can't tell that they're not actually there.
Yeah.
I don't know if you remember in some of the rehearsals, you could see they just showed like the screen, and it was quite obvious. And I think Iceland have done well to get them to change that, so it looks like they're there on stage. But it's such a fun, quirky performance, and you can't help but try and emulate the dance moves. And I think people are really going to get on board with Iceland. You can't forget also that, I mean, Daddy Freya is quite a big artist at the moment. He's been featured on TV shows in the UK over the past couple of weeks. When I did an interview with British News Channel, they were asking about Iceland. So there's a lot of interest. So, it could potentially be a televote winner. If not, definitely up there in probably the top 3, top 5 of the televote.
Yeah, absolutely. And also, it should be mentioned that he's probably the only artist who is competing this year that has made it to Time magazine.
Yeah,
which is this is a big deal. But yeah, Jess, I don't know. We've kind of discussed Iceland in a bit of detail. So any other thoughts about televote potential or how about jury potential with Iceland?
So I don't see it winning the televote, but I do see it top 5. And as for jury, I could see Iceland top 10 with the juries.
Ariana asking us, do you think that Italy will do well with the jury? I think this year they will like Italy and recognize the quality of the song. I do think so. Whether or not they'll be the jury winner is a question, because obviously there's lots of entries that seem to have that in the bag. But I do think that they'll at least get like top 5 with the juries.
Agreed.
I agree.
Simon saying winner vibes from France, Switzerland, Bulgaria, Ukraine, Portugal, and Iceland. Wow. I feel that. Yeah.
I'm glad you've put Portugal in there because, Portugal are going to do very well this year. And I think people are still underestimating them slightly. When they rehearsed, people were then talking about them going through to the final and qualifying. I think Portugal could come away with a top 10 placing tonight. I think they're going to do very well.
Ooh, I hear the what's that anthem called?
national anthem.
Te Deum?
Today.
Yeah, Te Deum.
Oh yeah, okay.
So that's the end of the show. It's just ended.
I see. I'm sorry, I don't know how to pronounce her name, but they're asking, did San Marino have problems with their staging? Was that sometime today or another time?
So apparently in the jury performance yesterday evening, the little kind of spinning platform that Senate is on apparently didn't stop moving, so they had to come off of this moving platform while it was still moving, which apparently can be quite dangerous. So San Marino, the broadcaster, is not very happy with this, apparently.
I see. I didn't notice that. Did you notice that, Andy?
Me neither.
No, but to be fair, I was dancing around a bit when San Marino were performing, so I probably wasn't watching too hard. That's the first I've heard of it, actually, so thanks, Jess.
Hello to Seka Sergio. Nice to see you. We've got Abigail showing some love for France. We've got Hannah showing some love for Albania. Connor Wells asking us, do you think that Portugal could do a North Macedonia in 2018? Do you mean 2019? Because 2018 they didn't qualify.
Yeah.
I think so. Like I said, I think people are underestimating the impact of Portugal this year.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised to see that happening.
Yeah, I don't know if it will really get like that far with the juries, but potentially top 10 with the juries, and I think they could also get a very respectable televote result too. Jam Slam saying Switzerland will win both jury and televotes. Well, I definitely felt that way when I saw it the first time on the day of the first rehearsal, but obviously others have come in and made a huge impact. Jess, your thoughts on where Switzerland will finish?
I think overall Switzerland are looking at top 5, possibly top 3. I do see them as potentially being a jury winner, but not necessarily a televote winner. But either way, it's going to be a great night for Switzerland. I can tell you that. Yeah,
I hope so. Again, like this was an entry that had a very unique impact. So I think that considering all the favorites, this still has a quality that none of the others have, I would say. France might come close to it, but I don't know. When I was watching the jury show last night, there was something that it didn't feel like France had as much of an impact as it did when, obviously in C'est vous qui décidez, it was the song. There was no other song that was going to get selected. But I don't know. How do you feel about that, Andy?
It's strange this year for me because I'm watching both Italy and I'm watching France, and each time I watch their performance, I think this is a winner performance. And I've never had that with two countries. So I'll think Italy's the winner, and then I'll watch France and I'll think France is the winner, and I'll keep going between the two. In terms of Switzerland, which you were asking about, he actually pulled off a great vocal in the jury show last night, and he put some tweaks into his vocals. Like I think we've got an even higher note at the end than what we'd had in the previous run-throughs. Yeah, and it does have a lot of impact. So, Switzerland potentially could be up there. I think they could win the jury vote. I think the impact of the staging will bring him in a lot of televotes, and I agree with Jess. They're looking at least top 5. I think, along with about 10 other countries, I think will end up in the top 5 this year. But whatever happens, they should be really, really proud of him because he's worked so hard for this. He's such a talented guy. And the staging, although I had my doubts about it initially, for me, it's now beginning to work. So I'm hoping it will come across well on the TV screen.
Lots of love coming in. Malta, Ukraine, Russia. C saying, I think Iceland might just sweep it all up. Either way, it's going to be very close. Could you imagine having like a top 5 where there's a difference of like 3 or 5 points across the board?
I would.
It could be a possibility this year.
Like the most tense moment of my life, I think. It's
Greta also saying, please don't underrate Lithuania. All of us have been fans of Lithuania, I would say, right?
Oh yes. And I see a top 10 coming for them this year.
And so the thing is, as much as I would like to see the group get their best, Lithuania's best result ever, I would definitely choose them over We Are the Winners. Obviously, the We Are the Winners is kind of epic in its own right, but considering that it's 2021, considering the amount of effort that they've put in, I would love to see that. But obviously, it's just so competitive that they might not top that, but getting in the top 10 is definitely a possibility for them, I would say.
Yeah, it just shows what a quality year it is when there's potential that songs like Discotheque and The Roop could maybe not get in the top. I do think they will be in the top 10, but there's so much quality in the final this year that there's so many songs that have just got potential to get a great result tonight. And it just means that there'll be other great songs that will end up with worse positions. And this should be Lithuania's best ever placing at Eurovision, but it might not be. And that's a bit criminal for me.
But I mean, honestly, like, lots of love to the Roop, because they've just brought something that's so unique. And like, definitely ticking certain boxes when it comes to Eurovision, but it's unique.
There's so much fun to watch, and it's really engaging, and you just want to get involved in it. Definitely Lithuania's best entry they've ever sent, and I prefer this to On Fire as well. I know a lot of people might disagree, but
let's see. We've got Ariana saying Italy won Eurostory Best Lyrics Award, so they are appealing for music experts, which means they can do well with the ESC jury. Potentially, yeah. I mean, when it comes to the jury, it really does depend on what their background is. It's like, I mean, I'm kind of speculating here, but I'm sure that if you showed, Italy's song to somebody who is like really into classical music, that maybe they might not love it as much as somebody who is like a radio DJ. Although I don't know, maybe Italy is not the best one to make that argument with. But like something like San Marino, because the big question that I have is how is San Marino going to do with the juries? I don't think it's going to do super well, but I think that it's ticking certain pop music boxes that could get like a mid-table jury result. But also, I mean, I can't remember a time that we've seen a song in Eurovision with, that was mostly a pop song with a rap break do really well, because I mean, we don't really get that often anyway. But I don't know. Any ideas about that, Jess?
I mean, I think I would probably have to agree with you. I don't see San Marino doing terribly well with the juries. But then again, it is a kind of very poppy, radio-friendly song that could appeal to some juries. It's just so confusing to try and work out how the songs are going to go, because there's so much diversity this year. There's such a high standard of songs, and it's like whenever I'm kind of thinking of a song, I'm thinking this could do well with the juries or the televote for this reason or that reason, and I can make an argument for every country winning probably. But yeah
Italy, I will just say with Italy, I think no matter what your kind of musical preferences are, I mean, I'm not always a rock guy, but I think Italy still does have wide appeal, and you get a sense of that when you talk to people in here. I mean, I'm in a Eurovision press centre, and typically people in this press centre will tend to love kind of poppy bops and, women in, bopping around to a dance number on stage. But people are loving Italy here, so I think it does have really wide appeal. And it's just so charismatic to watch it on stage as well. It's a performance, and I always say this, for me it feels like it's going on for longer than 3 minutes. I feel like I'm watching a 6-minute performance, and that's very clever to squeeze that into 6 minutes.
It's so funny because every time we talk about Italy winning, I think back to when it was Sanremo, and like the winner hadn't even been decided yet. And we were talking about, because I think it was the first night of Sanremo, and here, maybe I'll rearrange things so we can get some more people in. Hola, Clara, ¿qué tal? She can't hear me, can she?
Say hola.
Hola, soy Clara.
Nice to see her.
She's cold.
She's cold? Oh. Is it really that cold there?
It's really cold, really windy.
Oh, it's summer here. Like we've been seeing over 30 degrees here.
The weather has not been kind to us in Team Eurovoxx this year. Yeah, so we're hoping for somewhere hot. If it goes to France, we want the south of France. If it goes to Italy, we want the cheapest place in Italy possible. Tuscany.
Tuscany. Is Tuscany that cheap though? I thought it would be a bit more pricey than some other parts, like the very south.
I don't know if it's cheap, but yeah, it's beautiful. I'd love to go there.
Yeah, of course.
Signora, signori.
Let's see. Bjorn G, hello from Belgium. Do you think Hooverphonic will be bottom 5? They don't deserve bottom 5, but
I think their jury score will be enough to get them out of the bottom 5?
So the thing is, in that semi-final, they were kind of they were playing their own game, right? Because there wasn't really anything else to compare it to. But now we do see there's a lot more bands, and we also see Portugal with like, obviously it's a different vibe, but it's a different genre at least, but it's the same kind of the same vibe in terms of feeling. I don't know. Is it possible that one of the two could draw votes away from the other? What do you think, Andy?
Sorry, I wasn't paying attention. Between Belgium and
Portugal.
I don't think so. I think I don't know. I see them as two very different songs. I think they'll have a different audience. I think Portugal's got wider appeal than Belgium, and I think people are going to fall in love with the staging and the way the story is told. With Belgium, I think you have to possibly be into that style of music to want to pick up the phone and vote for that. I don't think the appeal is so wide.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree with. I agree with that. In like with respect to the televote, I am thinking about whether or not the juries will be split on it. Tilly's saying it's sunny here in Wales. Apparently, is it sunny where you are, Jess?
It has been sunny and rainy today.
Oh, interesting. Sarli RH saying Ukraine, Lithuania, and Greece top 3. Edem saying Switzerland will be the winner. Oh, well, Clara's not here, but we'll let her know that you liked her outfit. So Michael Forbes says hello to Clara.
Like your outfit. Michael Forbes likes your dress.
Got more love for Switzerland's. Howling Wolf saying, I'm from Lithuania and we never win. But you guys should definitely be proud of yourselves this year.
Definitely.
Oh God, so many comments coming in. Zay Pedro YouTube is saying vote Portugal number 7. Oops. Stavros. So we kind of already answered this. Jess and I feel like it could happen. Andy, I think you're a little bit more confident about that.
Yeah, Greece has grown. I liked the song before we came to Rotterdam, but ever since I saw the staging, I know some people have said the staging isn't perfect and you can see small glitches, but I think all in all, I think she's got star quality. I think she comes across very, very well on stage. The vocals are on point. And the song has actually been elevated by her performance. I'm not going to say it's been elevated by the staging. It's her performance of the song that's elevated it for me. And part of that is the staging. So I think Greece are going to get a lot of support, maybe more so from televotes than juries, potentially. But I think Greece could be looking at another top 10. I think they're a contender for a very high position this year.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I guess it just comes down to, we've already spoken about how many favorites there are here. And then we assume that the favorites themselves, they don't necessarily win, then they would occupy those other top 10 spots. Obviously, like, I imagine that one or two of those will fall short for whatever reason. But will there be enough space for others is a question. Anonymous asking, what do you think of Finland's song?
I like it.
Love those guys. Will they finish in the top 10? I'm not sure, though. Maybe just outside. They've got a lot of support around Europe. They've got quite a big fan base.
They do, yeah. I don't know. I think for the most part we're giving the edge to Italy for being the rock song this year, but obviously, like it's great to see that Finland has emerged and really, stolen the hearts of a lot of people for having this, aggressive song.
What I love about Finland and Italy this year is that in a couple of years' time, I hope we're not comparing two rocky songs as being, which one's going to do better. I hope we can just have a Eurovision full of different genres and, maybe more rock numbers, and we won't have to always put them in a group. And that's what I think Finland and Italy are doing well this year. They're bringing rock to the mainstream in a very different. People always say about Lordi winning. Lordi was a different kind of rock song. It wasn't. It was a different kind of performance. It's a different kind of act. But I'm really happy that we've got both of these songs in the contest this year.
I am too. Even though I've never been very warm on Finland myself, I've always commended it for being a good entry when it comes to Eurovision. Linnea asking us, do we like Spain? I know what Andy's going to say.
It's a nice song, but it's not doing so much for me this year in this field, because the field is so good, and I think Spain will get lost. Although I will say they won the fake voting yesterday, so it was nice to see Spain walking away with the Eurovision win of sorts yesterday. But he's doing a great performance on stage. It's very emotional to watch, and you can feel the emotion when he's performing it.
Definitely. Yeah, Jess and I have discussed the possibility of this being an entry that can get them out of the bottom 5. Now that we've seen all of the countries perform and we know our qualifiers now, Jess, do you still think that's the case?
I still think that is, yes. I think this will have some appeal from some jury appeal, and I think that whereas with Televote, I don't see it doing too well, but I think they will have a high enough jury score to get them out of the bottom 5.
And I also think that he has a pretty good spot in the running order, in the sense that, yes, he's in the first half, but he's at the very end of the first half. He is coming after Iceland, I think. Yeah. So, I don't think it's too much of a mood shift. But, I've always really liked Lass as a performer. I would like to see them get out of the bottom 5 for once. Okay. Lots of questions. Stefan, I see you asking this a lot. So what do you think of the Serbian song? Jess?
I really like it. It's fun, it's catchy, it's upbeat, it's kind of got that Balkan flair to it in a little bit. Brilliant. And they perform it very, very well. So it's one of my favorites.
Jason Green asking, will the United Kingdom do well tonight? Andy?
Well, they came fourth in the fake voting. I think 4th or 5th. It's quite nice to see them so high up on the scoreboard, but no, I think we're probably looking between 20 and 26 for the UK. That's not to say that the song is bad, because it's a fantastic radio song. It's going to be one of my summer bangers this year. I'm just not getting the star quality from the performance that I think we need. But James has done a fantastic job. He's been such a character here, and it's really BMG's first year at the helm of the UK Eurovision. If we kind of take out last year's cancelled year, so this is the first time that they've had to stage a song, and I think they will be learning a lot from the experience of being at Eurovision here. So we may not get a good position tonight, but I look forward to what's to come in 1-2 years time.
Yeah, and I would agree with that entirely. Because the song, there are fans of the song. It definitely has appeal. It definitely has that summery vibe. It's never really been a favorite, so obviously that doesn't really speak well for results. And yeah, like when it's come to the staging, I know that I've been quite critical on it. I do think that they refined it by the time we actually saw some of the rehearsals, so it's definitely looking better. But a bit too on the nose for me. It might rub some people the wrong way. But at least a respectable song. And I agree with what you said, Andy, about because this is the first time that BMG has been involved. I think for the next years, they if they're smart, they should also remember that the presentation of the song is equally as important. So whether or not that's going to burn its chances to get out of that bottom 5, I wouldn't necessarily count on it. But glad to see a respectable UK entry overall when we're talking about the music.
Can I just say quickly, just in case there is any UK fans that are watching, I know that there's, I've experienced this kind of negative attitude on Facebook or social media about the UK not putting in any effort. And I think from what I've seen, they are putting in the effort, but they've still got learning. They still need to learn, and they are using this as a learning experience. So we've seen countries turn themselves around. Switzerland, where were Netherlands a few years ago, Switzerland coming back year after year now with potential top 10 songs, and it will happen for the UK one day. So let's not bash the BBC and the delegation. Let's just support them and hope that in a couple of years they will have learned, they will have got feedback on the performances, they will have seen what other countries are doing. And also the UK also doesn't have the amount of money that some of these other countries have to throw into their staging as well. So we just need to remember that. So keep supporting the UK guys, because they're on a trajectory.
Definitely. And
upwards.
as you mentioned, the Netherlands, it only took them 6 years to turn around a win. you know.
Mhm.
So it could happen. It could happen in just that same amount of time for the UK, or even shorter. It just comes down to, you know, as you said, like learning. And I think people in the UK need to understand that, like the UK as a country, when it comes to Eurovision, they need to learn how it works, because they haven't really seemed to get it so far. But this is a good step. This is a step in the right direction.
Yeah, I was asked by a Dutch TV station about, you know, why did the UK never do well? And I say the UK used to do well, and they rested on their laurels, and the contest evolved around them, and the UK stayed where they were. Now the UK needs to evolve in line with the contest. So I think they're on that journey now, hopefully.
Mm-hmm. Lots of questions, people wanting us to talk about certain countries. Let's go for this one. PM asking about Bulgaria.
I have Bulgaria as a surprise winner. I think this has both jury and televote appeal. The staging is beautiful. All of the kind of the colors and the visuals we're seeing, it just fits the song perfectly. Victoria performs the song perfectly, and it just is a beautiful entry that I think will be top 5.
And Andy?
To be honest, there's nothing else that I can add to what Jess has just said. It's one of my favourite vocal performances in this whole show. I think she performs it. Being someone that's not necessarily in love with having the limelight and being centre stage, she's quite shy, I think, when she's off the stage. It's just such an endearing performance, and it's, you know, even she gets emotional when she's performing it, and I think she will win a lot of votes tonight. I can see this as another one of 15 songs to enter the top 5 this year, but Bulgaria, you know, another great performance from them this year.
Really love the visuals in that performance. Love the sand falling. I think I brought it up a few days ago, but I don't know, apart from the sand art that we saw from Ukraine 2011 and Moldova 2019, I don't think we've seen that much use of sand, and certainly not in this way, where it's meant to, you know, kind of invoke the image of an hourglass, the sand in an hourglass falling. Very effective. One
and
that
so
I really
simple and so simple, and it just shows that you don't need these huge crazy ideas and these big gimmicks to put on fantastic staging. It's literally a rock, some sand, and some nice lighting, and a photo frame.
We had a great question from Yusuf. Well, I mean, I think the answer is going to be obvious for you guys, but favorite non-English entry this year? Who is it?
I think I would probably have to go with Denmark.
Oh, really? Okay. Andy?
Oh, it's Italy. It's my number 1 of the whole contest. But second, my number 2 would be Denmark as well, of course, because I love that.
All right. Can you guys guess which one it's going to be for me?
Italy.
It's not Italy.
France.
Although it is
France.
It's not France. Come on.
Ukraine.
Yes, of course.
Ukraine.
Say it. I have to learn the lyrics to that. I don't know if you saw Andy, but this morning Montaigne was actually singing the song on her Instagram. She was she was obviously being very humble about it, because she's not. I don't know if she knows any Ukrainian, but she gave it her best shot, and it just really put a smile on my face.
I need to watch that.
So sorry guys, we're just getting a lot of comments in here. Hold on. There was one question looked really good. Okay. C saying, do you agree that the Moldovan entry is getting more criticism than they deserve? They think that Natalia absolutely brings it. What do you think, Andy?
Yeah, I don't think she deserves criticism. It's not my favourite song, and I probably wouldn't have put it through to the final, but that's not a criticism of her. You know, she's been one of this year's biggest glow-ups from kind of last year. She's almost like a different person. The only thing that I maybe don't like so much is that it's all very manufactured, and I think, you know, she's become a product rather than Natalia Gordienko. But her performance is, you know, it's confident. I'm not necessarily into the dance routine myself. I think it looks quite, it looks a bit awkward. But you know, she gives a good performance. She did that 17-minute record-breaking note at the end, and she's having a fantastic time. when you see the artists talk about their experience, you can tell how much this has been a dream of hers to be in a Eurovision final. So I'm happy for her that she's made it. But yeah, she, you know, I don't think she deserves a lot of criticism from people. If you don't like the song, you don't like it. You know, it's your opinion, but let's not throw hate on the artists.
Yeah, no, I think you summed it up really nicely. It's it does come off as a bit manufactured, which is really a reason why it's not my favorite. I've never disliked the song, to be honest, but it's just it's not the kind of thing that speaks to me as a Eurovision fan. I see the audience that it has. But yeah, you know, because when it comes to voting and you know, jury points and all that, it's really about which songs stand out. And this one, in my opinion, doesn't stand out as much. But obviously, you know, there are some fans that made it to the final. It is going to be a question as to where it finishes. But yeah, that's as much as I think about it. And Jess, any other thoughts on Moldova?
I think pretty much Anne just summed it up completely. It's maybe not the strongest song of the contest, and it maybe was a surprise qualifier for some, but that doesn't mean it should get hate or kind of or anything like that. I mean, you know, yeah.
Sorry guys, I'm just catching up with the volume of comments. Not all of them are in English, so I can't, you guys bear with me for a while. Oh, here's one. Jennifer asking us, what's your opinion on Albania's song? I know what Andy's going to say.
Shall I say it?
Yeah.
I think it's a beautiful song. I'm very happy that we've got a song like this that for me harks back to Eurovision's a few years ago as well. But we've got a bit of Balkan flavour in the Albanian entry. It's epic. She's a fantastic vocalist. None of her vocal performances have been flawed in any way, in my opinion. Really happy for Albania. Is it going to break the top 10? I don't think so. You know, I'm seeing this maybe between 15th and 20th in the final tonight. And obviously, because she's performing in second place as well, maybe suggests that she would have come sort of 10th or 9th in the semi-final. So it's not necessarily a winner, but glad for Albania to be in the final for, I think, 3 contests in a row now. Jess, is that right?
Yep.
Yeah, this is one of my favorite entries as far as staging goes. It's very simple. Actually, well, maybe not my favorite, but I love the theme of using smoke and the colorized effect of it. It just looks really elegant, and ever since we saw the rehearsals, I felt very strongly that this was at least going to qualify. Yeah, that number 2 spot is probably going to do them in to a degree, but it's a very respectable entry. I love Angela. She's just so, you know, great vocalist, and also just, you know, she's got a warm personality to her. So I wish her the best, and I would like to see this finish on the left-hand side of the scoreboard, even though I have my doubts. But Jeff, your thoughts on Albania?
Yeah, I love Albania's song this year, and I would say that I probably love the staging more than anything. It's very effective. It suits the song perfectly. And I am hoping for a decent result, a good result for Albania, but I am worried because of the running order.
Yeah, I mean, again, somebody has to take that number 2 spot. You can't just leave it blank.
It's been Albania twice in a row now, I think, because I'm sure Unida performed in second as well. It was, yeah. They gotta remember that for next year. They gotta give them something later in the running order. Yeah, but you know, we have to say about Albania is where the hell do all these amazing vocalists come from as well?
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
Wow, what a nation for fantastic vocalists. Not only female vocalists, but male vocalists as well. You see it in FIK every year.
Yeah, it's consistent. And also, let's not forget Gyan, who's representing Switzerland, has Albanian roots as well. And he's right up there with being one of the best vocalists, and having, you know, just a really, you know, a really awe-inspiring moment in that song. So lots of questions about Portugal, which we've kind of already talked about, but quickly, Andy, your thoughts?
Love it. One of my absolute favorites this year. Totally flipped for me coming into this contest. I wasn't even listening to it before I got here. Watched the rehearsal, and it's now been, I'd say it's in my top 5.
And Jess?
Love the song, love the staging even more, and I want this to be top 10.
Does
I,
it remind anyone of James Morrison? Does anyone know James Morrison, the singer?
Mm-hmm.
yes, I do.
It reminds me of that for some reason.
A little bit. The thing that Dominic said when we were reviewing the entries for Festival de Cancel this year was that it reminded him of a male Anastasia, Tatanka's voice. You guys know
Oh,
Anastasia?
I could see that. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I really like those guys, and I'm very happy that they have done well, because not everybody thought that they would.
Me included.
Oh, well, here's Dominic right now. Which country do you think will have the biggest difference between the jury and televotes? What do you think?
I mean, it's hard to pick just one, but when I think of countries like Serbia or San Marino and these type of kind of pop dance tracks, I see them being very popular with televoters, but not so much with juries.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd probably lean more towards those two countries.
Yeah, I have to have a think about that. What do you think, Andy?
So I was thinking San Marino, but how about Germany, just to throw an oddball in there? I think Germany is potentially a country that could do really well with televotes, but not very well with jury. So maybe that will be one to watch.
I can definitely see a difference between. I'm quite confident that there will be a difference between jury and televote scores for Germany. Could it be that drastic? Maybe. But, you mentioned San Marino. I have a feeling that would probably be one of the songs. Also, I have to say, like, despite the fact that Russia is one of my favorites, I wonder if it might get a bit written off by some juries, because it's a hip hop song, and we don't really see a great deal of hip hop songs do successful at Eurovision.
Yeah,
so
I was a bit saddened by Russia's running order as well. I was hoping they would be a bit lower down in the first half, because I think they're performing 5th.
Yep, for a second year running.
5th. So I'm worried that people are going to forget about Russia as we kind of progress through the show, and I would really love to see Manisha do well, because she's a very, very brave woman. And she's when you talk to her, she's amazing. She's got this very important message for people, and I'm glad that she's able to present that in the final this year. And I hope Russia gives her support as well, no matter what the result is tonight.
Ellie's saying, I think Sweden will do decent with the jury as always, but score close to 0 with the televote. I don't actually think it's going to be the case this year. And I think that we might actually see Sweden. I think there's going to be a discrepancy at least, but I think that they might get a decent televote score and then like a mid-table televote score and then a decent jury score. But I don't know. How do you feel about that, Jess?
I could see the same happening. I don't see Sweden as kind of winning the jury vote as they have done in previous years, but I could see kind of top 10 with the juries and maybe kind of mid-table with the televoters, possibly.
What else we got? We've got Watherland saying Finland, Portugal, and Iceland. I assume that those are your favorites. Replay saying Finland will be at least top 3. Eldar saying Serbia is going to slay. We kind of talked about Serbia while you were gone, Andy, but Serbia is going to slay, and they're already all around the world trending, which is enough already. How do you feel that Serbia is going to do, Andy?
I think Serbia could do very well tonight.
Yeah?
Serbia's one to watch. I think they're in for a top 10 placing. I think people are going to love the energy from Hurricane, and also be amazed at the fact that they can pull off all that dancing and still have good, strong vocals. I think I'm surprised they're not opening the show, because I would have seen Serbia as a good opener as opposed to Cyprus. I would have put Serbia there. But yeah, I think they're going to do very well. And it's another surprise, because I remember people were talking about them not qualifying before we came to Rotterdam. But look how they've turned that around.
That was me.
Was it you?
though I never
not
wrote
only them. You not only you, other fans like outside of what we're doing, I'd seen kind of say that they thought that Serbia wouldn't qualify.
Mhm. And I never completely wrote them off, but I still do feel like it, in terms of having a refined entry, it's not that refined. Sad to say, but obviously lots of love and support, as people have been reminding us in our comment section right now. So I could see this doing well. Amelia asking, what do you think of Eurovision not suspending 2 songs that are mentioning and literally showing the middle finger on and off stage? I think that that's fine. I think that they have done what they can to try and limit it, and I think that people shouldn't be too uptight about a little hand gesture. It's not that big a deal.
Yeah, it's 2021. It's not 1961 anymore. You know.
And if you don't like it, then you can just not watch that particular song, maybe, or just hide behind a cushion.
Yeah, make that your bathroom break. Hide behind a cushion. Yeah, I mean, because they did say they did make a mention of it, because obviously, like, the EBU can only do so many things. They can't. I suppose they could try and fully censor it live in the show, but I just don't think it's worthwhile, and it's not a big deal.
No, it's not. I mean, 30 years ago, we would never have had a same-sex couple kissing on stage.
Absolutely.
We've had it now. Things change. We can swear a bit more publicly. We can stick our middle fingers up. I'm not going to do it live on YouTube, but I really don't think it's a big deal.
Burke asking us, I do not think there will be a clear winner in the televote. Top three or four will be too close. As a result, the jury vote will be very important. What do you think? I agree. Absolutely, 100%.
Yeah.
Agree.
Yeah. Some love for Greece, some love for Switzerland. I have somebody asking us, I lost it, but it was about, here it is, Norway. How do we think that Norway is going to be finishing? Jess?
I am going to predict mid to low table in the final. Nothing against the song or the performer, but there's so much strong competition in the final. And I feel like Fallen Angel is not strong enough to compete against some of the big hitters or the big favorites. Mm-hmm. So probably kind of maybe mid-table at most, I would predict.
I'm very happy to see Tix in the final, and I've always felt more strongly that he would make it. But now that we're here and seeing what's surrounding him, I do think that he's going to struggle to be the favorite for a lot of people. But he could definitely get somewhere in the middle. I would say probably like right-hand side, but towards the top is where I would guess.
Yeah, that's what I would say as well. People are voting for him, I think, rather than the song. It's not the best song by any means, but he's such a personality and such a character. And I'm very happy it's one that's really grown on me while I've been out here.
Definitely. I saw some questions. I'm not going to pull it up because there's been a lot of comments that have kind of come in, but about Cyprus, the fact that Cyprus is opening the show. Andy, how do you feel about that?
Yeah, like I said, it was a surprise for me to have Cyprus opening. I would have put Serbia there. Maybe it's going to harm Cyprus a bit tonight. I don't know.
I think it's a good choice for an opener, just in terms of the energy of the song, and especially like aesthetically speaking, it's one of the best looking. So I think that especially because of the fact that the grand final audience is so much larger than the semifinal audience, you're going to need something that hooks them right from the get-go. So I think it's a great choice. Honestly, I've never really seen Cyprus as a winner. So I don't really think it's going to matter. I think they could still finish in a decent spot, but yeah, I'm perfectly happy with having them as an opener. But what do you think, Jess?
Yeah, I'm the same. It's a great, catchy, upbeat song to get the contest off to a good start. So for me, I think it's perfect to open.
Jumping ahead, but okay.
Can I just interrupt very, very quickly, because we've got lots of people watching us right now, and we're so close to hitting 13,000 subscribers on YouTube, and we would love to do it tonight on the night of the grand final. So if you are watching us for the first time, please make sure you subscribe right now and help us get to that magic 13 tonight. That'd be amazing to do it on grand final night.
Yes, please. C Carrot is asking, how do you feel about the American Song Contest?
Oh, I've had no time to think about that. Yeah, I've been wow.
I am.
Go ahead, Jess.
I'm curious to see how it will kind of pan out, and whether it will literally just be like a carbon copy of Eurovision, or whether they'll kind of make it their own. But I am excited for it, and I would love to watch it when it's on, just out of curiosity, and yeah.
I'm very.
I was going to say thank you to the 15 people that have literally just subscribed to the channel as well. Thank you. Keep going, guys.
Yes,
keep going.
Please. If you haven't done so already, because we talk about Eurovision all year. You might be surprised if you don't know, but there are announcements that are coming out all the time. And since we're talking about the American Song Contest, if that really takes off, then there's going to be stuff to follow. For there's going to be even more to follow. And I believe that they're expecting to have that around the holiday season. So that will be kind of the opposite time of the year from Eurovision. So keep us in mind, give us a subscribe. But as far as how I feel about the American Song Contest, I'm excited to see what it might be, especially because it is going to appeal more to American sensibilities than European ones. So I am going to see, it's going to be interesting to see how many people are going to come from Eurovision and go to that and be like, why aren't there any key changes? Lots of love for France. Ooh, I think I've kind of frozen here. Oh, all right, there we go. Okay, so we're getting some questions about Azerbaijan. Andy, your thoughts on Azerbaijan?
I love it. Absolutely love it. It's one of my favorite songs to dance around to here in the press center. I think Effendi does a fantastic job on stage. I think they've got the staging just right for this song. I know some people were kind of critical about what she was wearing and felt she needed to wear something that made her stand out more, but I think it all works for me. And my favorite part is I can't think of another Eurovision song where we just get this huge climatic build at the end, and that's my favorite part of the song. I think it's got impact. I think if Azerbaijan don't finish in the top 10 tonight, they'll be just outside. Yeah, did I say I loved it?
Yes.
I love the song too. Love the song, love the whole kind of vibe and feeling of the song. I am still just a little bit let down by the staging, that there's maybe not more happening. But I'm going to predict this to finish around kind of mid-table, perhaps, maybe just reaching the left side.
Yeah, again, because we're in the final now, it's hard for me to see this being too many people's favorites. I think it will definitely get support. It will probably finish mid-table, but most likely, I would see it most likely on the right-hand side, but who knows? I think what they've done with this song is or at least with the performance, is that they've been able to make an experience. It's one of the few songs this year that has like an Eastern sound to it, and it's very prominent. So yeah, they've definitely done made the right choices. At first, when I saw it, I was quite skeptical, but they were able to pull it off.
Guys, I just have to say thank you, because I'm just literally watching our subscriber count go up. Like almost 50 of you have just subscribed, so thank you. We really appreciate it. We're nearly at 13k, guys. Let's keep this going.
And also, don't forget too that we are going to be, Andy will be streaming throughout the show. So if you want to talk about the show as it's happening, be sure to join them. We are going to come off of this broadcast at some point, but you can join us again. And if you subscribe to Eurovoxx and hit that bell, then you'll know every time that we do a live discussion, because we talk about Eurovision all year. We make other content. We do interviews. We do analysis. And we've got our website, Eurovoxx.tv. Where we've got a big team that pushes out articles all the time, bringing everything that we can about Eurovision to you. So I'm doing my best to pick out the questions, because obviously there's lots of people who want to support their own country or their favorite country.
I did see one comment about get ready to eat lots of pizza. That's like heaven for me.
And if we do go to Italy next year, then it will be pizza galore.
So would you guys say that pizza is your go-to food for Eurovision, or is there something else that you would want to have with you while watching Eurovision?
Well, let's just say I had a pizza just before I came here today.
Okay. How about you, Jess? What are you going to be snacking on?
So shock horror. I don't really like pizza very much, to be honest. It's not one of my favorite foods at all. I'm probably going to be snacking on chocolate and crisps, to be honest with you.
Chocolate and crisps?
Yeah, that's more my kind of thing.
At the same time?
I mean, not together, obviously.
Knowing Jess.
Yeah, I know.
So it could be interesting to try, but chocolate separately, potato chips separately. Mm-hmm. Yes.
Yeah, because I have to think about because I'm already getting hungry right now, but it's also the lunch hour here, so I have to eat lunch, and then I have to think about what I'm going to be snacking on while I'm watching. I know what I'm going to be drinking because I got some nice Spanish wine for my birthday, so I've got two great choices, and I'll probably be dipping my toes into that, not literally,
Nice.
of course. What else have we got?
Hurricane.
Sorry, guys, I'm just looking. Okay, so Eurovision, you've asked many times. What do we think about Lithuania? We all love it.
Love it, love it, love it.
And I have been trying to learn. I'm going to try and do the dance tonight on the live stream. I've been trying to learn it.
I've been trying to learn the finger thing, and I just, for the life of me, I can't do it.
If I look at it and
Clara
really focus, I can't do it as fast as they can. Clara, show us.
I was going to say, I'll speed it up.
Nice. I think we should, after all this is done, we should do a little compilation, a Eurovoxx compilation of all the dance moves, because I've been really wanting to do those Icelandic dance moves.
I can't. So for some reason, I can't do them very well. But I have learned Destiny.
Oh, hello. Who's that? Okay, so replay saying Finland and Italy have to be in the top 5. Only 2 rock songs, and there is already so much pop genre that it's getting old. We need more different genres. I'm sure many will agree. We do agree, certainly. The question that we have is, because they're the only 2 rock songs, will one pull more votes away from the others? They could definitely both land in the top 5, but I think that across the board, we're giving more of an edge to Italy.
Mm-hmm.
Sarah asking us, what do you think about Russia and their message? Great message.
Yeah,
such an important message, and Manisia's doing an amazing job getting this message out to such a big audience. It's a very, very important message. So please show her lots of support tonight.
Maud Veen asking, what do you think about Greece? Sorry, I wanted to go to the other question, but we're kind of split on Greece. We think that it could do well, but
I love the song. I love the staging. I think this is top 10.
Yeah, I agree. And Stefania's got such a big career ahead of her. She really is. When you see her on stage, you meet her in person, she's an absolute star. So Greece and the Netherlands, you should be very proud of Stefania tonight.
Burke, I would say that we would all disagree with you on the fact that juries won't vote for Italy. I think that they will. I think that this is the kind of rock song that if it's mostly made up of musicians, that they could appreciate that a lot more than some of the rock entries that we've seen in the past. Sonia asking about Malta and Destiny. I know that Jess, you've talked about this a lot, but how are you feeling? Excuse me. How are you feeling about Malta, Andy?
Well, it's my favorite to win this year, and I do think she gives a very, very good performance on stage. Her vocals are easily some of the best from this year's contest. The staging, I do think, is very, very good. I do worry that she is performing so early on that could potentially have an impact on her results. But I do think, regardless of what happens, whether she wins or not, Malta, I think, is looking at their best Eurovision result tonight.
Go on, Andy.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like she's been done a little bit dirty with the running order. However, I think the performance and the song and Destiny herself are great enough to overcome that, really. It's a very memorable performance. You fall in love with her when you see her on the stage. She's got so much charisma, which, again, she's one of these artists, when you meet her off stage, she's so kind of shy and quiet, and then she's like an absolute belter on the stage. I agree. I mean, what is Malta's best position? Second, wasn't it, a couple of times?
Second.
I think. Yeah, is it still going to win? Oh, I don't know. It's so hard to call a winning country. It's a contender, I think. But yeah, we will see. And I can do the hands now. No.
Yeah. All together. Ready? Jimikas. I've been trying to make my dog do that because my dog, when she lies back like this, and you can just kind of flop her around.
We need to see a video of this.
I'll do my best, okay? That will make for great post-Eurovision depression content, I think. Okay, so guys, we talked lots about Azerbaijan. We talked lots about Serbia. ESC Nerd asking us, any word on what they're planning for Duncan yet? I have not heard anything. Have you guys heard about if they're going to be able to include him in the show?
So he will be included in the show somehow. I'm just not sure. I didn't see how they were including Duncan last night, so I'm not sure, but he will be included.
Okay. Obviously, we're hoping for the best for him. They did say that his symptoms were mild, but it is such a shame, such terrible timing of all the moments to test positive for COVID-19. It was really unfortunate. So yeah, guys, like if we're not answering your question, it might be because we've already discussed it in detail, so we don't want to keep repeating it. We did get a question about Israel, which we haven't talked about yet. So, Andy, your thoughts on Israel?
So Israel are performing third tonight, I think, aren't they?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's a great performance. She's a great vocalist. She's got those whistle notes nailed down. I just think it's possibly going to get forgotten in terms of the televote, especially, which is a shame. But yeah, again, Israel should be proud of Eden. She's probably the most excited person you will ever meet. She's just loving being here, and you really get a sense with some of these artists when you meet them how young they are. And I think she's 19, and yeah, it's an amazing platform for her. So regardless of how well they do, she's another one I think who's got a big career ahead of her.
Definitely, and maybe not in the like next few years, but I would love for Israel to consider her again, because I have my doubts as to how well they'll perform tonight. Just again because we have so many favorites in here. They could surprise because she is hitting those whistle notes. I have my doubts about the song being a favorite, and you mentioned how early they are in the running order too. But I really like Eden as an artist, and hopefully if they do invite her back again, then let's get her involved from the beginning on choosing the song, please.
Yeah.
Can you imagine if she was doing Feker Lebi this year? I think we'd have it down as a favorite again to win.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. Well, I know that was one of your favorites of 2020, wasn't it, Jess? It
was, and I probably said a million times I think that could win the whole contest, and I still stand by that.
So love for Norway, love for Albania, love for Serbia.
Linnea 93C, I saw your comment about 12 points from the UK, and I think Italy or Finland. I think Italy are going to go rock tonight.
I was thinking televote, UK televote to Finland.
To Finland?
Yeah.
Yeah, I could see that. UK televote going to Finland. Yeah.
As for juries, Belgium maybe? Portugal? I don't know.
Yeah.
That's a hard
I don't
one.
know. It does make me think about the time that the UK jury gave 12 points to Georgia in 2016 when they had that. That might have had something to do with the fact that the guitarist looked very much like Noel Gallagher.
Did he?
Yeah, totally. Totally.
Oh,
yeah.
I have to look that up.
But that's also one of my favorite songs that year, and it ended up like 20th, 21st. But it was really a unique performance. Maybe a little too much on the light show, but I really liked it. Against bullying, saying North London will be voting on Cyprus and Greece because there's lots of Greeks there.
Yeah.
Love for Cyprus. Joanna L saying Russia was amazing. Acelia, I'm sorry if I don't say your name correctly, but she's putting her bets on Malta or Albania. Interesting. We've got somebody showing love for both San Marino and Italy. Shadow Assassin, nice to see you again.
Imagine Italy first and San Marino second.
Or imagine San Marino beating Italy.
Yeah.
I don't want to think about that. Dara, I believe is how you say the name. Eurovoxx. A lot of viewers will tune in later to the show. Do you think this will have a disadvantage for countries performing in the first half and the televote? Is that the case? Does the viewership shoot up like much later?
So I'm going to tell you, this was so we used to have a commentator called Terry Wogan.
Yes.
In the UK. So some of the younger fans might not know that name, but he always used to say that the ones performing later in the show, when all the drunk people would come in from the pub after 11 o'clock, that they'd vote for like the first song they see, and so it'll be one of the later ones. So that was always his theory, that it was always better to perform later because people will come home and see something under the influence of alcohol. So that's why I think Italy's got a great position.
And actually, in 1997, it was the UK that gave, I think, 10 points to Iceland that year, which was like the last one. So that kind of somewhat justifies his theory, maybe.
Yeah.
Gotta love Paul Oscar.
The thing is, it's very hard when you're doing a running order because as you progress through the show, kind of people's emotions will be growing, people will be getting more excited. And you're really getting into the show. So I do think it is a benefit to perform later on. But countries have won. I mean, Netta, I think when she won, she was in the first half, I think.
Second half.
No, it was second half.
Oh, was she second half?
She was quite late. I think it was 20th or 21st.
Yeah.
Who am I thinking?
But Mons was in the first half. So was Salvador. So was
Duncan, yeah.
And Sertab in 2003 performed in 4th place and won. So it can be done.
Yeah. I think sometimes we put too much on the running order. It's always a topic of discussion, isn't it? And, you know, countries feel like they've been done dirty if they're drawn in certain positions. But, you know, the trend has to be bucked at some point. One year, a country performing second will win Eurovision. I just hope.
Yeah.
And then we can stop this running order discussion every year.
It's happened at Junior Eurovision, so now we just need it to happen at Eurovision.
How long ago was that when that happened?
It was the first winner in 2003, Croatia.
Okay, all right. How many people participated?
16.
Okay, I see. Yeah. And maybe you know about this, Jess, but I think is it the 17th spot that's seen the most winners?
Yes, that is correct.
Okay, and do we know who's 17th? Because I remember...
I want to say maybe Emily de Forest.
No, from this year. Who's 17th in the running order?
Oh.
Isn't it Finland?
It might be Finland or somebody.
Finland?
It might be somebody right after Finland.
I don't remember.
If any of you are looking at the running order, feel free to give us a shout and let us know.
Tommy's here.
Hey, Tommy. Nice to see you. Who is he hoping to see win?
Who do you want to see win, Tommy? Italy.
There we go.
Number 17 is Bulgaria.
Yes, Yusuf beat us to it though. So could that mean good things for Victoria? I think maybe we should wrap it up now because it's been about an hour and 20 minutes. And hold on.
Can I just say though, before because Twan, who's a member of Team Eurovoxx, we saw him today because he's here for the final. He bought us these lovely boxes of Tony's chocolates, which we're looking forward to eating during the show tonight.
Ever.
So thank you, Twan. This is yours, Clara, by the way, before I start eating it.
What are they like?
Tony's chocolate's lovely.
Yeah?
Yeah. I think you can only get it here in the Netherlands, can you?
You can get it in the UK.
Okay, before we go, from each of us, I want to know your guesses on a top 3, and which one do you think is out of those top 3 is going to win?
Stu, let Jess go first.
Okay.
So, who I think will be top 3? I'm going to say number 1, Italy. Number 2, Switzerland, and number 3. Bulgaria. That's my guess.
Okay. Do you have yours yet, Andy?
Oh, I'm looking at Clara's list and thinking she could be so right. But so Italy first, I'm still going to go with France second, and third place is a lot more difficult. So Switzerland, Ukraine, maybe Bulgaria.
Oh, Ukraine.
Mm.
Yeah. Mm.
I'm going to go third place to Switzerland, second place to Iceland, and
Iceland.
I'll go for it. First place to Italy.
That's because you've got style, Stuart.
You got style.
Style and lasers, like
Yeah.
like someone who unfortunately is not in the final.
Take off all your clothes, your cloaks. I later discovered it was cloaks, not clothes.
Right. But yeah, I guess we'll wrap it up there. Thank you guys so much for joining us. It's been a real pleasure to talk to you. Firstly, and before we go, thank you for just talking to us throughout the Eurovision season. Let's get everybody in here. I'll do a different arrangement so that we can see everyone. There we go.
Look how fabulous these two are looking.
Always. You guys are always on point. But thank you guys so much for joining us all throughout this season. It's been really exciting. We hope, if you haven't done so already, that you subscribe to Eurovoxx. Also, as we said earlier, Andy, Clara, and Tommy will be broadcasting throughout the show, so you can talk to them as it's happening.
1 hour, 1 hour before. We'll be live.
Starting 1 hour before. So hopefully you'll join them. They'll also be streaming live while the results come in, so you can get our reactions.
And you'll probably find me in the live chat too.
So anyway, guys, this has been a really great Eurovision season. Can't wait to see where we're going to be going next year. Best of luck to all your favorites. May the best song win, as they say. And we will see you after the show, or during the show in the case of Andy and the Rotterdam team. But until then, take care.
Bye.